Good day, sir. I am Nikilos Cabanilla from BSIT 2C Web. Number 1 question. Components of computer system. In these components of a computer system, we have 5 basic computer components. One of these is that input. These components help users enter data and commands into a computer system. The data can be in the form of numbers, words, actions, commands, and many more. The main functions of these input devices is to direct commands and data into computers. These computers are used for Central Processing Unit, or in short CPU, to process this data and produce output. The second is the Central Processing Unit, CPU. After receiving data and commands from users, a computer system now has to process it according to the instructions provided. It has to rely on a component called the Central Processing Unit. The CPU further uses these 3 elements. One of these is that memory unit, that once a user enters data using input devices, that the computer system stores this data in its memory unit. This data will now remain here until other components of CPU process it. The memory unit uses a set of pre-programmed instructions to further transmit this data to other parts of the CPU. The second is that arithmetic and logic unit, that this part of the CPU performs arithmetic operation. It does basic mathematical calculation like addition, subtraction, division, multiplication. It can even perform logical functions like the comparison of data. The third one under the CPU is that control unit. This unit is the backbone of computers. It is responsible for a coordinating task between all components of a computer system. The control units collect data from inputs, units, and send it to processing units depending on its nature. It also further transmits proceed data to output units for user. The third and final component of a computer system is the output. After processing of data, it is converted into a format which humans can understand. After conversion, the output units display this data to users. This output, we have 4 examples: monitors, screens, printers, and speakers. This output unit basically reproduce the data formatted by the computer for users' benefit. Number 2 question. Peripheral device of computer and their function. Computer peripherals device are the device which could be connected to the computer by using outside ports. Some of these are actually optional devices to improve the function of our computer. They are normally input and output devices. I have 6 examples of these peripheral devices of computer. The number 1 is the speaker. This is an audio output device that plays sounds from the computer. Its port is located at the back of the motherboard, within the sounds card portion. The second one is mouse. This is an input device that can be used to move and navigate around the computer. The third one is webcam. That this input device that could capture still images and video images. The fourth one is joystick and gamepads. That these are additional devices that could help users in their gaming needs. The number 5 is a scanner. These are input devices that could capture images and save their digital copies in the computer. The last one is printers. These are output devices that prints documents, images, and many more. Number 3 question. The Central Processing Unit CPU. The CPU are the same way of our brain process and interpret information. This brain controls everything. It is the one who says to our body what we will do. just like the CPU of a computer. If without it, we cannot control the whole computer. We need a CPU to boot the system. The Computer Central Processing Unit, in short CPU, is composed of the Computer Control Unit and its process to perform all computer tasks. The brain uses neurons to transmit information while the computer uses electricity. The brain uses synaptic connection and both of them do multitasking. The faster of CPU is to process information the same way genius individual process information faster than average of people. It's like also the motherboard of the computer is connected to the CPU via wire. Similarity, our brain is connected in different part of our body via nerves. Number 4 question. 3 units of CPU. The one of these 3 units of CPU is that memory unit that once a user enters data using input devices. The computer stores this data in its memory unit. This data will now remain here until other components of CPU process it. The memory unit uses a set of pre-programmed instructions to further transmit this data to other parts of the CPU. The second one is that arithmetic and logic unit that this part of the CPU performs arithmetic operation. It does basic mathematical calculation like addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. It can even perform logical function like the comparison of data. The last one is that the control unit. This unit is the backbone of computers. It is responsible for coordinating tasks between all components of a computer system. The control unit collects data from input units and set it to the processing units, depending on its nature. It also further transmits processed data to output units for users.